begin this morning with a major arrest. Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is now in federal custody after being indicted by a grand jury in New York City.
Sean Diddy Combs was back in a New York courtroom where he learned his sex trafficking and racketeering trial will begin in May. He's pleaded not guilty to all the charges.
It's Sean Diddy Combs with his stunningly beautiful daughter, Chance Combs.
Welcome back to The Real Hearsay, where we break down the most shocking and controversial stories making headlines. Today, we're diving into a lawsuit that's sending shockwaves through the entertainment industry. A woman has come forward with disturbing allegations involving none other than music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, along with several others. This case involves claims of intimidation, threats, and a horrifying alleged setup. Stick around as we break down the details.
It was only after that video was released that he himself released a video saying, "That's not me."
Combs seen assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, throwing her to the ground in a hotel elevator bank and then kicking her twice. He then tries to drag her away.
I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
Sean Diddy Combs posting on Instagram, responding for the first time since that disturbing video.
Our story begins in February 2018, when the plaintiff first met defendant Shane at a bar. According to court documents, the plaintiff had just been involved in an altercation when Shane stepped in to help. Later that night, while outside the bar with friends, Shane decided to FaceTime none other than Sean Diddy Combs, seemingly eager to impress those around him. But here's where things take a turn. When Shane showed plaintiff the call, she dismissed Diddy's presence, stating that she wasn't impressed. Why? Because she believed he was somehow involved in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Diddy, who was visible on the FaceTime call along with his children, Christian and Quincy, reportedly heard the statement and responded with an ominous remark that the plaintiff would pay for what she said.
If you remember, during the Cassie lawsuit, Diddy denied he did anything.
He threatened he was going to eat my face, so I didn't take him seriously. I just thought he was a bizarre human being.
Forward to March 23rd, 2018, Shane invited the plaintiff to his home, claiming he needed help with his cancer medication. But according to the lawsuit, this was nothing more than a setup. When plaintiff arrived at Shane's apartment in Orinda, California, he suggested taking her for a ride in his new car. They left briefly, then returned to his home. Plaintiff noticed that Shane left his door slightly open, claiming it had trouble closing completely. As they settled in to watch a movie, Shane offered the plaintiff a glass of water. Just 10 minutes later, the unexpected happened. Diddy entered the apartment, but he wasn't alone. Diddy made a dramatic entrance so loud that even the dogs upstairs started barking. But he didn't come in through the backyard entrance like one might expect. Instead, he entered through the main door, raising even more questions about how he gained access. He wasn't alone. Diddy was accompanied by his bodyguard, Big Homie CC, Defendant KK, Defendant Brandy, and two other individuals known as Doe 2 and Doe 3. Doe 3, believed to be Diddy's driver, reportedly stayed outside in his vehicle during the incident. According to the plaintiff, Shane had lured her there so that Diddy could confront her for the statement she made a month earlier. As soon as he walked in, he allegedly taunted her, reminding her that she thought she'd never see him in person. He then reportedly pulled out a knife, held it to her face, and threatened to give her a Glasgow smile in retaliation for her comments. It gets even darker. Another defendant, KK, allegedly stepped in, suggesting that scarring the plaintiff wouldn't be good for their potential clients, hinting at something even more sinister: human trafficking.
Everyone knew, but what did they know? And, you know, with Diddy, here's what I have pointed out, what I'll say. Not a single celebrity has come out to defend Diddy. Not one.
Combs has pleaded not guilty. And now we're learning more details about the raid that went down here at Diddy's 17,000 square foot, $61.5 million mansion. Prosecutors revealed they actually found 6 guns in his California and Florida mansions, and alleged that Combs had repeatedly contacted victims and witnesses in the months leading up to his arrest on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. The rap mogul's team had insisted they would keep him under armed 24/7 watch at his Star Island home if he was let out on bond. using the security system he already had in that mansion. The New York Post reports one of the agents who helped raid that property said Diddy kept sex toys, bondage gear, and lingerie inside, calling Diddy as bad as Jeffrey Epstein. The judge ordered Combs to stay in Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center, which has also been home to high-profile clients like Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly. Stephen Greenberg was the disgraced singer's first lawyer and spoke with true crime news host Anna Garcia.
Stephen, very disturbing are the allegations here that these sex workers or others were drugged to the point where they didn't know what they were doing.
A lot of the people that are involved, it looks like they were professional sex workers. So they knew they were getting into something. They probably knew who they were going to see, and they were going to be well compensated.
Not eating, not sleeping. I couldn't function like a normal human being.
Ashley, the tough question, not just from me, but from any opposing counsel, that would be Sean Combs' lawyers in this case, if it goes to trial. The tough question will be, why would you return to the scene of a gang rape, a shooting, a knifing, and a harrowing escape under gunfire after finding safety at a neighbor's house where he offered to let you stay there? Why would you have returned to such a terrible scene?
Everybody was gone from the place, and I was not in a headspace where I could trust the neighbor because I don't know him, and I was kind of afraid to stay in that house. And I had tried to find my keys so I could at least hide in my car. I kind of just gave up on life, honestly. If they had killed me that night, I wouldn't have cared at that point.
And again, I'm sorry to ask these tough questions. I do think that, I was going to say, and I'm sorry that I have to ask these tough questions. I feel like Sean Combs' lawyers will be a lot tougher than I am. It's hard to understand from an outside perspective why you'd feel less safe with a neighbor who rescued you than walking back towards the crime scene where all those horrible things had happened before you could truly know for sure there was no one still left in that home.
Ashley, I'm going to jump in here because I really feel we're looking at things from a very logical standpoint. You nor I have not been in that situation. And anybody attempting to judge the mindset of somebody in that situation, it is ludicrous, honestly. How could you not understand why we would logically not experiencing that? Of course you would say, oh, well, why wouldn't you just stay with the neighbor? The neighbor is a stranger too. She's just went through this very great ordeal, not knowing where to go, what to do. And now there's this other stranger who's introduced where she was with the police and nothing happened. Logically to me, trying to go back to get her stuff seems the most reasonable. She doesn't have her clothes on. She doesn't have her phone, her purse, her keys. And now to expect her to now go stay with a complete stranger and not even attempt to, I guess, get out of there entirely when she thought it was safe to at least go back to retrieve or at least find her possessions. She thought everyone had left. So would you prefer an empty space or a space with this random person that you don't know after you had just been violently gang raped, threatened with your life, threatened to be sex trafficked? In my mind, it doesn't make sense for her to have just stayed with the neighbor. What she did makes logical sense if you are to put yourself in that predicament where these things had happened to you. So unless we're going to put ourselves in that mind frame to think about what we would do if this had happened to us, which we can't even do. We can try to imagine it, but there's no imagining it unless you're in it. And anybody who's been in such a severe situation to expect or to question their logic, I think is unreasonable.
What do you think is the best case scenario for him and worst case scenario about what he's facing?
Well, the best case scenario is that he wins. And given what I've seen, that's an uphill battle. And the worst case scenario is that he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail.
These allegations are deeply disturbing and, if proven true, could have serious legal consequences for everyone involved. Sean Diddy Combs has been a powerful figure in the entertainment industry for decades, but this lawsuit paints a chilling picture of what allegedly happened behind closed doors. We'll be keeping a close eye on this case as more details unfold. What do you think about these allegations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on breaking stories like this one. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe.